We got claps in the front, claps in the back. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Power of Steve.
This beautiful negative image of Steve.
Collin has his Wasifix.
I have my Wasifix on me.
Oh, you got a Wasifix as well?
I have a Wasifix.
That's such a good gift, Griffin. I love it so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now that I own a 3D printer, I should just start sending people random 3D printed
I'm
nonsense.
sorry, you just dropped what bomb?
Now as in now that you've had it for 2 years and haven't said anything, or this has reached the purchase?
Wait.
Now it's I've had it for maybe 6 months.
What?
Maybe.
Okay.
You just...
Yeah.
Bro. Is it the Bow Bow one? The crazy one? Bow Lab? Or
It's a Bamboo
Bamboo.
Labs.
There it is.
It's a Bamboo Labs. I bought it so that I could make custom board game insert organizers, guys.
Okay. All right. Respect. I mean, how many thousands of dollars do they cost?
No, they're not even. It's, they're relatively cheap.
All right. I mean, that's pretty sick.
Well, cheap is not the correct word. They're they're less than you might think.
I'm about to hold you accountable. They do cost thousands of dollars.
All you have to do is sell your Apple VR headset, and you can get your 3D printer.
Some of them it looks like are sub 1,000. A lot of the nicer ones are like 2,500 or more. But
no, I definitely did not buy one of those.
Okay, there's a bunch of like consumer oriented ones that are like 340, 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
What's
pretty
the first
cool.
thing you printed on it?
Well, there's like a I guess you could call it like a...
What's the first horny thing you printed on it?
Probably a board game organizer.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
There's like a little the words are escaping me. What do you do to your computer when you want to test it?
Test bench?
There's a benchmark. There's a benchmark that called Bodhi. And so everyone prints a little boat first, and you get your Bodhi time.
A Bodhi McBoat face?
Oh, that's cute. Bodhi McBoatface.
People get really hard about it.
Interesting.
On the internet.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool. I don't know, where did you put it in your house? Is it in the room with all the discarded paint samples? Because, where else could it be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have
Which
you
is my
printed any
office.
meat yet?
No, that's step 2.
Okay. Well, you better get to print before RFK takes your meat printing machine away.
Guys, did you know that Steve Harvey's first name is Broderick?
I
That
didn't.
rules.
How did this never come up in conversation?
Doesn't he have a
don't
twin
know.
brother, too?
I don't know. I'm about to find out, though.
Yeah, you have a picture of him in the doc.
Twin brother. Hey everybody, it is Boss Barrel Radio. We are back again for the time this year. We've had a lot of them. We did a lot of podcasts, but this time it's a Game of the Year podcast because you got to do one of those. And after scouring our backlog, our list of played games, we all have determined that we played around 10 games this year, so we can do it. So Griff, you want to talk a little bit about how we're going to come at it this year? Because I feel like we always have a different approach.
Hi, I'm Griffin, and I'm here to say I used to record this podcast weekly in a major way. Isn't that crazy? Who else is here on the line? Who else is... Can I talk to Jaime?
Well, hello.
Hi.
I'd like to talk to you about extending your car's warranty. That's really
It's
why
as
I'm
far
here.
as I can go!
Hey, everybody. And I think we're also joined by...
Hello, everyone. Collin reporting for duty.
Wow.
Wow.
And we got a Griffin.
Hey, yeah. Okay, I'll be happy to talk about the format. Format's easy. We're going to talk about our games that we enjoyed in the bottom-up order, so least favorable to most, and then if somebody already has that game that is said higher on their list, we'll pause, and it'll move on to the next person in the round-robin cycle, and then once that game is reached on the highest level on somebody's list, then the discussion will commence.
And we have a separate one for hentai games, right?
That's the Patreon.
That's tomorrow.
Episode.
Patreon
Yeah.
exclusive. Oh.
Yeah. Favorite wait, what is it? E-girl?
I was going to say, when you came to me earlier today and told me to drop 90% of my list, it was a tall order, but I found a way.
Yep. Well, that list is not going to waste.
For a mere $6, for $6.90, you can get access to our hentai game top 10.
Are you, Geoff, on your list, do you have more e-girl games or more i-lady games?
I don't think I know what an i-lady is.
I-lady's nuts on your face! He got God!
I don't know if it's the fact that this room is a little hot, but I was laughing so hard at that I became lightheaded. I felt like I might pass out.
All right, back to business here, fellers. I think we got some surprises in store here.
Wait, so hold on. Did we get through all that? We're talking about games, and then we just we wait till we get to the person who had it at the highest, and then they do their thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to make more sense as we get shuffling along here, right?
Okay. All right.
Right.
Just want to make sure people knew what was going on.
Yeah. Okay, write in if you don't.
Yeah. Collin, if you
Sound off in the comments.
Collin, if you don't, get out of here.
Whoa!
See you later, idiots.
So maybe we should start with who has the most comprehensive list of 10 games, because some of us, not saying names, don't have 10.
Just want to say that my list contains entirely games released in 2024, which I thought was a pretty important thing for Game of the Year 2024.
Mine too.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there.
Well, sounds like the most expertise you guys are the most prepared for this event.
Evidently.
With your
I was gonna
games
say,
actually coming out from the year.
the half hour I spent before we got here served me well. Yeah, I'll talk about. But Jamie has put an image of incoming HHA Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over my list, so I don't know if I can begin.
Too distracted.
Yeah, I was going to say, suddenly I have feelings about vaccines. Speaking of vaccines, y'all hear about this game, number 10 on my list, is Animal Well. I feel like, actually, hold on. Before I say anything about Animal Well, did anyone else have Animal Well on their list?
I did.
I also
It's
did.
at 9 for me.
It's at 9 for James. Collin, where did you put it?
Mine is at 7.
Okay, well, apparently I forfeit the ability to speak.
For now.
For now. But it's there.
Yeah. Jamie, what's your 10?
My 10 is Blade Chimera. And I don't think anyone else has that on their list or knew that it existed.
Nope.
I thought it was a licensed video game for a little while, and I got pretty excited.
So does this mean that I talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait, Geoff, what were you going to be excited about?
I was going to
if it
say,
was a
I know
licensed
that,
game?
spoiler alert for a movie that came out like 6 months ago, Wesley Snipes is back to playing Blade, so I just thought maybe, he's back to putting out other forms of Blade media. But
That would be really cool.
I was very sad to find out that was not the case.
Well, this is a Metroidvania by Team Ladybug, who I was not familiar with, but apparently they've made a nice little kind of business out of just making Metroidvanias, and they've made a couple others that have been well received. I don't know if they made they made the Momodora games. Have you guys played those or heard of those?
I have
of them,
heard of
for sure.
those. I have never played those.
I'm
never
looking at
played any of
pictures,
their
and
games
this looks
either.
like a real game.
Yeah,
Blade
I
Chimera?
also have it pulled up.
Yeah, it's I've literally only played it yesterday, but it rules. I got it.
Oh, interesting.
I got it because it has really cool looking pixel art. Like that's the main reason why I got it. But then I started playing it, and it's got major Symphony of the Night vibes, from little things to the PS1 era animations. Like it's largely 2D, but there are some elements like when you level up that couldn't be done on a system that was earlier than that. A couple of like the rotational stuff and some of the special effects, very Symphony of the Night. And yeah, it's like very compelling. It's not too hard to grasp. As I understand it, it's a pretty linear Metroidvania, but I am really kind of excited by what I've seen so far. Epic boss battles. So yeah, I'm hopeful that when I play more, I will. I'm hopeful that I'll play more. That's, when you're in your late 30s and you're talking about video games, I think that's just really the hope, that you'll just finish a game.
Also, it's worth noting that Jamie is a doctor, so if he plays and video game, it's a miracle because he's busy doing important things.
And there's also next year.
It's true. Yeah. You could put it on your Game of the Year list for 2025. Who cares?
You can play any game
Evidently.
anytime. You could play it in 2025 and put it on a 2024 list.
I was going to put Slay the Spire on here.
Didn't.
Might have gotten
What's so funny?
update.
I didn't realize that it. This came out in 2025, so I guess it doesn't count. I did not realize that, but whatever.
Wait, I thought it said August 2024.
Oh no, it says
I think
August.
It released
Yeah.
at least on. Oh, it says August for Blade Chimera.
I just
Okay,
caught
cool.
a quick. I didn't vet my sources on that.
Guys,
That
what
would've
that
been
came
really
out in
lying to me.
2003. Why? Wait. Oh, sorry. My bad. Is that the one where he CGI'd his eyes open, or is that a different one? Jamie, you said that this game has Symphony of the Night vibes, and I just want to push you a little bit on that. Mostly because I want to ask, does it have really bad voice acting?
The
It has
official
no voice
release is
acting.
this year.
Yeah,
Huh?
the official release.
Oh,
is this year.
shit. Listen. Okay, he's making up for all your crap from 2023.
16 days. 16
That's right.
days.
Rise
Nothing.
the average up. Yes.
Okay, you know what? It's before the Lunar New Year.
Exactly.
Because that's today.
Fake New Year.
I was going to say, our New Year is the fake New Year. But does it have bad voice acting, Jamie?
No, it has really bad dialogue. Really
Ooh,
bad text
yeah.
box dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there miserable
With
piles of
flashbacks.
anything?
Well, not yet. But there is a lady who's a sword. So that's
Okay,
cool.
I love it. You got me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, unlike Stellar Blade, which features a lady holding a sword, did that make anyone's list?
Not interested.
I would have put it on my list, but I didn't play it last year.
Yeah,
So
it's on
I
my
felt
list of
conflicted
games
about it.
to buy.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not on my list. Okay. All right. Thanks for telling us about Blade Chimera, Jamie. I appreciate
You're welcome.
Your 1 day of experience.
Yeah.
Hey, Griffin, why don't you talk about a game that definitely came out this year? Since Jamie
Sure.
did that.
I don't have a 10th game on my list because I only put on 9.
So does that
But
mean you,
I guess
you don't
you
speak?
could put in Stellar Blade there because it was good. We can move on to Collin.
Who also only has 9 on his list.
Excellent. Back to
You know
Geoff.
This is the most cursed Game of the Year podcast of all time. Hey, Collin, you know what? I'm going to buck Griffin's thing here and just ask you, tell me about FF16. Was it good?
It was. So I've hated Final Fantasy for a while now.
Okay.
I loved Final Fantasy back in the day through 9. I didn't really like 10, despite everyone else in the world liking 10, apparently. And I haven't really been super fond of it, but I thought I'd give 16 a try, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. I played the demo and I felt like the combat didn't have a lot going on. Does that
It's
ameliorate at any
definitely
point?
slow starting with the combat until
Okay.
you have more at your disposal, and then it gets
Okay.
a lot more interesting.
When it gets more interesting, what does it play like?
It kind of plays like a combination of like a Souls plus Devil May Cry Light.
Huh.
There's nothing that's going to be nearly as challenging as either of those games. But it can be a little hack and slashy, but it's just really cool, kind of like cycling through, synergizing a bunch of different abilities from different summons, and you won't hate the characters, which
I was going to say,
feel,
yeah. Do you feel like they nailed it on the narrative beats?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the characters, and the narrative was the strongest point for me.
Yeah.
Which
This
I
is
feel has almost never been the strongest point with a Final Fantasy for me in a long time.
Yeah, this is a game that was hurt by the fact that when it was coming out, I had just purchased a soundbar. And if anyone owns a soundbar and tries to use it to play video games, they know that it's a fucking nightmare, pardon my French, but actually don't, because they're terrible. And it just had awful latency and like terrible volume mixing. And I was like, I hate this. I don't want to play my PS5 anymore. So I just didn't buy an FF16. Nice. Collin, if you were going to put this on your list, do you think it'd be your number 10?
If I added to the list, I'd probably put it above Animal Well.
Okay. Okay. So it's it's deep in the back half, but
it would take the 7 spot. My only criticism is that towards the end, there's not a lot of enemy variety, I guess. So things do kind of get a little samey by the time you're kind of putting the wrap on it. But it's a solid experience. It's pretty good.
Okay. All
Good
right.
voice acting, you said, too?
Yes. Sid's voice actor, Griff, which I sent you a little snippet of that. Whew. Buddy.
Sid's voice actor, you say?
Sid's voice actor.
Okay. I know people go nuts for Clive. Sid is the one who's like,
yeah, he's got the very deep. I guess he's going to be voicing Galactus in whenever the final or the Fantastic Four movie comes out. Same guy. I cannot remember his name. I will look it up real quick.
Pertinent Game of the Year conversation. Is Marvel? Are we done with Marvel? I know like Marvel Rivals is a thing, but do we care about Marvel anymore?
But you gotta pour one out for Kang.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say the IRL. He's defeated by things outside of the movie world. Stranger than fiction, if you will.
Circumstance, yes.
All right.
I played a bit of. I played the demo too, and did like it quite a bit. I think I played the. I think I bought the game and enjoyed playing a little bit more beyond the demo too, but then it just got washed away by too many other games.
Not by a soundbar.
Ralph Ineson?
Ralph Ineson.
Ineson?
Ineson, I guess it's pronounced. Yeah.
Ralph Aniseed?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So yeah, maybe I'll check that out if it comes to another platform. Perhaps I'll give it a shot when it lands there.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Are you referring to Donald Trump presents the Switch 2?
I don't think Bro presents the Switch 2 since it's a Japanese console and it's going to be 25% more expensive.
Under his watch.
It's true.
It's like the original Switch.
I was going to say, that is a meme, right? That no Switch released during Joe Biden's presidency.
It's true. Can't argue with facts.
Honestly, you can't. They don't care about your feelings. All right, my number 9, looping back around, is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And I believe Griffin designed this system to silence me because I see someone else has it on their list.
Yep, got it at number 8.
If you cared more about it, you put it higher.
Wow. If you cared more about
I got it at 5.
You got it at 5. Ooh, okay.
I got it at 5.
Yeah,
But I want to hear you talk about it. Is that okay?
Why don't I talk about it when you get there? I have feelings.
That's the deal. Y'all.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Y'all
that's
discuss it when you
okay.
get there.
Because I didn't love it enough. That's what happens.
Clearly, Jamie loved it more.
I didn't bring it to the
Demonstrably.
ball, so I don't get to dance with it.
If you care, hey, you could have less than 10 games on your list and show how much more you love those 9 games.
I'm good. I like to just make a list of 10 games that came out in 2024. Call me crazy, but it's just kind of how I roll.
Yeah, traditionalist Geoff, I get it, yeah.
Jamie, what's your number 9? It's Animal Well, and I believe someone has that higher.
Well.
So you were silenced.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a strong I win bias here.
Only I get to talk.
Oh.
No, Griffin gets to talk, actually.
I think, okay, get out of the way here, because now it's time for me to talk about a game that came out in 2023.
But it's being actively updated. I think this is fair. This is the second best ongoing game.
Some would say it's not. And in fact, that game is Helldivers 2, a game that is still in the same year it came out, which is how games should be supported.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have much to say about Honkai Star Rail this year. Its launch year was very solid. I just wanted to shout it out because I truly do believe that Chronosphere or Hoyoverse, whatever, is making service games like
Great again?
No, they've all changing what I view service games to be, as in like this is a completely viable product, and ongoing support for a video game is really actually cool. And it's, like maybe we'll talk more about it when we talk about another game that had additional content that came out a year after or years after it was launched, and how complex that makes things. But Star Rail continues to delight. They continue to smooth out edges in the nasty gacha-verse and just like take care of their player base. They seem like they're having some fun over there. I will say though that the story and like the world that was launched with the version 2 was not as impactful. Like it just kind of sagged after the first kind of beat of it, and it really just didn't land particularly well as like the overall narrative. But 2025's content's been really good so far.
Okay.
Anyway,
I was going to say
that's enough for me.
Honkai Star Rail, not the Hoyoverse game that featured Gunner 911. Did I send you guys that article?
Yeah. Not on my list. Triple Z.
Yeah. Is it as inscrutable plot-wise as Genshin?
More so.
Okay.
1 million times more so inscrutable.
Because yeah, go ahead.
Because it is a sequel to Honkai Impact 3rd.
Yeah.
Which is their quote-unquote
which
first game.
Which is in the Evangelion universe.
It may as well be.
Because it's the third Impact.
What that company has done, what they said their mission statement is. They will make anime video games, and they did it because there's
Griff. How many currencies? How many currencies are in that game?
Enough to lodge a major lawsuit against them.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, and just for the viewers who don't, or the listeners rather, who don't know, Honkai is it's the kind of standard turn-based JRPG to Genshin's more ARPG, Breath of the Wild type gameplay, right?
Yes, it is. The battle system is very much akin to a Shin Megami Tensei turn-based turn-based, where you're exploiting enemy weaknesses. Except it's a really cool concept because you're not counter-typing; you're just typing. Enemies will say, "Hi, I'm weak to imaginary damage," and then you bring in your imaginary characters.
Griffin, it's all imaginary damage.
Well,
It's not real.
I mean, okay,
she's not your wife.
Your video game. Oh, okay. Is it electric? Is that the kind of damage that the video game produces? Is that closer? Is it steel?
I think I might have produced psychic damage on you, man.
My wife is.
Also, Jimmy, you were turning this into just the most cursed document. Okay. So, Griff, you're saying it's like so if the enemy's weak to imaginary, then what happens?
Well, you reduce their toughness gauge. So much like there's multiple currencies, there's also multiple systems. Engines is now the terminology that we're using in the metaverse here to talk about ways to play a game. So you have different operational engines within the game system. So you have an engine that would be a follow-up attack is the
I get what you're saying.
protocol.
So these are like different ways of optimizing or maximizing damage through different routes, essentially. Like you can build towards follow-ups.
If to like Pokemon terms it, right, like you could say a damage engine is stab, right? Like if they enter and exit a battle, you're damaging them. Am I mixing that term up?
Stab is same type attack bonus.
Stab is same type attack
Are you talking
bonus.
about entry hazards?
Yes, entry hazard.
Yeah.
So that's like a damage engine, or that's an engine that you would exploit to utilize. So,
and then because it's loot based, it's like, you know, your entry hazards, you could get like 240% entry hazards on this item versus like 175% on another one, right?
did you say that's for Pokemon or
for what you're playing for Honkai?
No. It's the same thing as like Pokemon. You exploit that mechanism in order to operate in battle. You've got multiple characters who can perform follow-up attacks. So you gear your playstyle in order to favor follow-up attacking versus another engine, which would be damage over time.
Okay.
Or like nuke or AoE. Those classic terms.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Is there a YouTuber I can follow who can tell me about how the new character or item is actually cracked?
They're all dead. They all turned 22 and got eliminated from their crystal caught on fire.
They were raptured, actually. They were taken to heaven. They're too pure for this world.
Yeah. They got gobbled up by the almighty algorithm used to feed the AI beast, and there's no more
That's
YouTube
what's so
personalities.
interesting to me about these games is like the so-called metagame for a single-player game is just fascinating to me, right? Because
I know.
It's just
That's-
grinding
isn't it so
endgame
wild?
content.
But that's why I brought in Pokemon as an equivalent, because you can do that in Pokemon 2. You just don't have to, because there's a multiplayer versus component. But if that were gone, you would still have those same mechanisms in place to do those things.
Yeah, well, that's like Battle Factory and stuff from back in the Emerald days. But okay. Well, I like that you're our games as a service guy. And I did love Genshin when I played it. So someday I'll check out Honkai. Maybe if I'm not employed.
That's the time to do it.
All right. Collin, what's your number 9?
My number 9 was Zeldo. And I think we have some other Zeldos on here.
Yep, I'm a 6 for Zeldo.
Wow.
Yeah. Couple Zeldos.
Jamie, yours is hold your Zelda pieces.
It's a great game. I'm excited to chat about it.
Yeah.
But I can't.
I didn't even, that wasn't even a tough decision for me. I just adored it. We'll talk later.
Yeah. And once again, I am silenced because Hades 2 is on my list, but Jamie put it at number 4, so F me, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Arzette. I don't think any of you
Another
guys played
fake
this.
game.
Arzette?
I actually beat this one.
Strangely not
Get out of
a
here.
rebadged Chinese import. It's an actual title.
Arzette rules. Do you guys not even know about it?
I'm looking at a picture and it looks like Temu Shantae.
I was just about to say this is fake news, Shantae.
I think, didn't I tell you about
guys-
Arzette, Jamie? Didn't I give you like a little primer on it?
You did, and then I bought it at PAX,
yeah.
from Limited Run. No, it's not Temu. It's Philips CDI, guys. Jesus, and it's very much in that vein. Do I talk about this now?
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
The stage is yours, man.
Okay, so I have never played with a Philips CDI. Griff? I have a feeling that you probably have at some point.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
No.
Nope.
Really? What about you, Jeff? I'm hearing some music or something.
Don't
he's
mind
booting
my
up
phone
his
making a
CDI
strange
right now.
sound. It's a haunted sound. Have I
checking
played
his-
the CDI games like Wand of Gamelon and the other one?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've seen them. I know enough about them. Like, I could recognize the terrible art in the cutscenes.
So I had not even seen them, so I did not know that this was a whole style into and of itself. But it is, and people are very nostalgic for this, apparently. It looks very much like a kid picks, something that you would, like a simple drawing you would make on like your Windows desktop in 1992. That's the art style, but it is also somehow charming. And it's just a really good, fairly straightforward platformer with some really, really, I would say, intentionally bad dialogue.
Yeah.
And
Are you guys familiar with the CDI entries? Like, you guys know about those,
What did
right?
you play this on? If you didn't play it on a CDI device, you. What did?
No,
How
it
did
came
you
out
play
this
this?
last year. I played it for the Switch. Limited Run
Okay.
did a
So
a
it's
physical
okay.
release.
It's a
It's not like
deliberate
they
homage.
printed it onto. It's not like they printed it onto a CDI and you had to dig out a CDI. You're saying this is an homage to a CDI game. Got it. Okay.
Exactly. This is a new game.
She's the heroine, right?
Yeah, she's the heroine.
Yeah.
She's got some tood. And it's just, it's a pretty straightforward, interestingly challenging platformer. It doesn't quite play like anything I'd played before. Apparently, when people describe it who played CDI platformers, they say that it is very reminiscent of those. I wouldn't say that it was fun. Like it's very kind of archaic. Like the movement is quite slow. It's fairly clunky, but it has a charm to it. And if you're in the mood for a platformer and you just want to play something that doesn't control like every other platformer, it's interesting and it's good
Like
enough. And
bad.
I must have liked it a so
If you want a bad platformer.
Well, it also like
either I hated myself that night or I don't know, but
so I would describe it as like a comedy platformer, right? Like the bits that I've seen like maybe the first hour or so of it, just like on a Let's Play, and it's like it's very funny and it's a very deliberate homage,
Yeah.
like scene for scene to some of the legendary moments from those games, and like the art style is intentionally bad, like Jamie said, like it totally looks like, you know, like a background with a bunch of copy-pasted elements on top of it. The animation quality is low, but it is all very intentional.
yeah, it's very self-aware.
Was it short? You said you played through the whole thing?
It's quite short, which I love. The
Hell
reason
yeah.
why I played through the whole thing is because I started playing it when I got home from PAX, and I played it for like an hour or two, paused it or saved it or something, got to the load menu and saw that I was 25% of the way through, and I was like, oh man, I'm all in. So yeah, it's short, it's sweet, and you know what? I take it back. It's not fun. It's just so different that it's not what you're expecting. But I would say that it's a fun little and quite unique thing. I think you guys should check it out if you're intrigued.
I'm fascinated now. This is not on my radar at all.
Yeah,
And if it's cheap and short, I am in.
I had no idea this existed. I am interested.
At least watch the opening, like, quote-unquote cinematic, which is really a strong word to describe it, because it is very funny.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you guys will dig it.
Griff, what's your number 8?
Back to me already?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully it's not some idiot trash like before that I said. It's okay. It's different. So my number 8 game of 2024 was Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, the game with the most numbers in it of last year.
Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake wants to have a word.
Yeah.
I think 400,000, 40,000 is more than that.
True.
No, it's not. This game is obviously a sequel to Space Marine, which was, let's call it a B-tier hack and slash beat 'em up game that came out, I think, on the PlayStation 3 timeframe. It's been quite some time.
Sounds right.
So long awaited, excited to have another Space Marine game where, right, the concept is you're a Gears of War shaped man, and you're just gonna trudge through heretic slime and Xeno scum, and you do that, and you punch things with your punching hand that's attached to a chainsaw sometimes, and then sometimes you shoot things with an extremely large, slow shooting rifle. So it's just a cool, like, here's why this game is good, because it's Warhammer 40k. If you love that kind of franchise, it's cool to see it in a video game that plays well. If you're a person who doesn't care for like Gears of War style kind of slowish and counter based combat, it's not gonna be for you. The thing that this game really touted was like its technical functionality, where it's like, look at this swarming horde of alien brood that's like, you can't even count the massive creatures that are on screen, and they are actually like distinct bespoke critters that if you shoot one will thin out the the herd. So, it's actually very like in a cool technical way where you're just mowing through like this visceral, undulating rat's nest of creatures that, it's not like you're diminishing the overall count of a swarm. You're literally destroying this swarm creature by creature. Very, very sweet in a technical sense. So that was mission accomplished there by that game.
Griff, I don't know if you remember this, but when you spoke to me about this game for the first time, and for our audience, I paint the Marines. I paint them, and they're part of me. Not as much a part of me as they are for Griffin, who has a literal tattoo, but big part of my life. And you told me to not play this game.
I did. It is 8 on my list of a game that only has 9.
So, did you end up liking it more? Like, did it shift a little for you? Or
no, there's just not a lot of choices this year, my friend.
He put it on the list because, like the game's like director or something, he liked that it wasn't woke.
Yeah,
because I don't know if y'all know.
No Sisters of Battle, none of that nonsense.
I was going to say the director or some major figure involved in the production of the game went on YouTube and said this game is not woke.
Oh, they're right. So, this game is not woke. I can tell you this. There is no Warhammer anything that is woke.
Nope.
Well, I mean, on the fringes, perhaps.
Right.
If there's a whole army that's ladies, so you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're performing their traditional roles that they need to do.
This game is not higher because it is actually kind of unpleasant to play due to it being very much designed to be a multiplayer game first and foremost. So you've got AI combatant compatriots that are running around and, doing things that aren't particularly helpful. It's like the best thing they can do is revive you when you go down, but they're not like strategically seizing points or helping you capture the map or being able to perform any sort of intelligent activity. Like maybe I missed something with like putting a marker on the map and then being able to direct them to do that, but it just really suffered from being designed to have another intelligent person playing with you.
I'm sorry that we're not by intelligent, the end
of it. Well, you didn't play it with me.
I know, I'm just being an asshole.
We tried to play that other Space Marine game, Warhammer game.
That was a nightmare.
And we got ejected from it.
I pretty much ejected the contents of my stomach trying to play it.
I think if you were playing this, having not done this, if you played this co-op and you're really invested in Warhammer, this would probably be a pretty decent experience.
Yeah.
But having played it single player, just there's so many glaring problems with it being like geared to be a multiplayer first level. Like, for example, if you go to the next mission after you're in your like battle barge hub world thing, you literally have to create a server to go onto your next single player level and wait for the server to load and the people to load in who don't exist because you have it locked up to be only single player.
So basically, this would have ripped on my Xbox 360 in college, but right now it's not it.
It feels really dated in that design, right?
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm more than happy to just play a game that's really well executed Warhammer bullshit.
Yeah.
So that was good. It definitely deserves, that. But Jamie, like, that's why I said I wouldn't recommend playing it, just because it's not this like, magnum opus of Games Workshop finally producing the greatest Warhammer Space Marine game ever. It's like, yeah. It's pretty cool, I guess.
We'll never get it, will we, Griff? We'll never get it. It's not coming.
It's just book on tapes from here on out, I guess. Yeah. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good, close as it gets. Speaking of not woke, there is a controversial ending that was patched in. So,
oh boy,
yeah. I don't know, Jamie, you're up on the lore. So, are you familiar with the current dealings in the universe where maybe the Emperor is not so benevolent anymore?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm like 13 books into the Horus Heresy.
Is this why nobody else has a list of games that came out in 2024 on their list?
the emperor is now manifesting himself as a physical entity in the world, and
No,
the
I was not
emperor
aware of
that's
that, but-
on the golden throne is now in question of has he just become a creature of the void?
I'm into this. I like this. I want more of this.
Yeah, Warhammer is
This is
cool
in the
as shit.
game?
It's also dumb as fuck. No, the ending is like the Emperor's voice speaks to. They patched in the Emperor's voice speaking to Titus, which before it was either silent or it was Pasta Marinara talking to him. So they patched that in, and it's like it's a big to do in the canon, because now you've got like direct contact from the Emperor to an individual, which has not happened in literal years in
Exciting times.
in Warhammer canon.
Exciting times.
It's all fucking dumb, man.
I mean, I said this
So
when we
dumb.
last discussed this, but I had a really good time with the first Space Marine game. I feel like this one being so multiplayer focused is just not compatible with me being an adult ass human. Like I just don't have time for that.
It would have been cool if they had like something that was like make this more like, hey, I'm just here for the stomp. But anyway,
The ripping
we
and
don't-
tearing.
yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Colin, I think you get skipped because doesn't Jamie have Prince of Persia higher?
I believe so. I think he has it a 5. Yeah.
Trounced again. Well, I get to speak
R.I.P.
finally, and say that my number 7 game of the year is Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Hold on, my cat is
But
being
mine
a
is
little...
at number 6.
Uh-oh.
Oh, son! God damn it! No, I thought I had a moment.
Griff, I love this format.
It's gonna come back
format
to me
rules.
again, isn't it?
No, actually, Jamie gets to talk again. God damn it!
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead, Jamie.
again, a game that I've played like a few hours of, but I'm into. So none of you tried Life is Strange Double Exposure.
No.
I have not.
I'm so tired of those series.
Di-
But if you're saying
Griff,
it's
how
back
many-
on the table. Oh.
Well, Griff, which of those have you played? You played the first one.
I love the first one. Mm-hmm. And then I played
So
the
I have-
second one, and I fell out of love.
Yeah, so same way for me. I've like dipped my toe since the first one. Never liked it. This one seems to be capturing that original vibe.
Oh.
I think it's very consciously trying to do that. And it's beautiful. It's smooth. It has this soundtrack from this Billie Eilish wannabe, but it actually works. And it's like such a shameless Billie Eilish wannabe that it's almost distracting, but it fits the vibe like perfectly. I'm actually like, of all the things that I've played on my goddamn PS5 Pro, this is the one. I don't even think this has a PS5 Pro mode, but this is like the one thing that I'm like, I want to go back and play more of that.
Can you print me a 3D print me a PS5 Pro, Jamie?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Just wondering if that's the thing that happens.
What you done with that? Once that boat's done, I'm gonna get a PS5.
Put in both face.
Oh my god, you guys don't want to get into 3D printers. It's like a whole thing.
It feels like
It's like
Linux
a
on
nightmare.
steroids.
I don't.
Just
when
open
you
the
start to
terminal
know
and
the
adjust
difference-
the tolerances. Sorry, Gary.
It's like I know the difference. I know the difference in melting points between different plastics now. It's really bad.
Are you sure you're not killing people?
Like during my doctor job, because I'm thinking about the melting point.
No, I more meant
and I
like
should
you're
be-
using the melting points of plastic to do serial killing.
Well, it's both. It's both. But anyway, Life is Strange Double Exposure is slow. It's ponderous. It is a Columbo episode of a video game.
I mean, you already got me
And
with that. You say
I'm into it. Just imagine a slow, ponderous video game with like really like distractingly similar Billie Eilish wannabe music, and that's what you've got. It's good.
that. Okay.
How many episodes did you get through, or are there? Do you know? Is it episodic? I should
These
ask.
are great questions. I believe Okay.
Next
I
question.
believe it is broken up into chapters.
I think it's a full game. I think it's a full game, Griff. I don't think they're doing that anymore. I'm gonna find out for you.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no.
Interesting.
I bought a disc. Yeah, the full dang thing's on there, but I think it's broken up into chapters, thematically. And I beat at least one. It's good. I rest my case.
Forrest agrees.
I was gonna say Forrest has a lot of thoughts about Game of the Year. Bro has just been piping up the whole time.
Yeah.
I've never played a single Life is Strange game, and I feel like I'm depriving myself of something I might really enjoy. So maybe someday I'll give it a look. Griff.
Yeah, if you're in that
go ahead.
mood, you know exactly what it is.
I do.
You know?
Yeah.
There's no. Yeah.
And I feel like I can enjoy that. How long are they usually?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I remember them being like 2 to 3 hours per episode, and then towards the back half, like the second to last episodes would be fairly longer, like double the length.
Okay, so maybe
But
around,
I could be completely wrong,
around
'cause I have
10
no
hours.
idea of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe that's
According
me
to
being
Time to Beat, 11 to 14 hours.
Okay, but people who freaking submit times on that website, I'm pretty sure they take Adderall before they start, because I'm never finished on the pace that
usually-
they do.
Yeah, double the hours or add 10 hours is usually my rule for that.
Okay, that's
Same.
But I
that's
could
a
see that being an accurate.
Yeah,
an
that's a
thing.
big-
2 hours per. Yeah.
big chunk of game, but maybe I'll check it out sometime. Griff, what do you got on your number 7?
Well, if you're looking for a not a big chunk of game that's fast, snappy, and big and fucking dumb, enter Tekken 8.
No guile, no interest.
Would you say that Tekken ate this time, Griff?
Oh, it be eaten.
And it left no crumbs.
That's what the kids say, right? Yeah, yep, yeah. All dead terminology that kids don't say anymore because nobody's woke. Tekken 8 is a fighting game that is inscrutable because it's Tekken.
Yeah.
So we can get that off the table. I played the story mode, and it's a fucking good story mode because it's big and dumb in Tekken 8. And if you do know anything about Tekken, it's delightful. It's brief. It is very much in the modern post MK revival, Mortal Kombat revival of story modes, where it's just bit bopping around different characters that you play for like 3 matches, and then you shoot over to another character, and you're like, okay, I got that. Now I get a little story bit, and it's all fucking crazy bullshit that doesn't mean anything.
So
And
you
then-
don't have like the crazy alternative endings anymore, like depending on what character you win with.
Well, so that's arcade mode.
Oh,
and that's different.
okay,
This is
okay.
this is the story mode.
It's like campaign mode.
This is a campaign mode. Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Where and this addresses the long-standing feud of the 2 sons, Heihachi Mishima, or not Heihachi actually, he's dead.
Or is he?
Kazuya Mishima
Or is he?
and Jin. So why this is crazy is because by the end of the game, you're like turned into gold, angelic, and demonic beasts flying in outer space in an asteroid above planet Earth as it's crashing down, and you're just hauling out and beating the shit out of each other as 2 chiseled ass Japanese men slobber knock each other. So
Sounds
I'm a big
amazing.
fan of that. Yeah, it's good.
I've
It's
always
big and
loved
dumb and
Tekken,
fun.
so this sounds excellent.
It's that, and
Yeah.
it's fast. Like you could play through the story mode in 4 to 5 hours, I think, if you're not too worried about learning combos or anything. You just mash on the buttons. It's good, it's fun, it's silly, and yeah, there's just big, gigantic, bombastic moments that are fit for Tekken. And if you do actually know anything about like the Tekken lore, they don't shy away from decisions made in the past. Where maybe you remember when Jin turned evil and like killed half of America, and he's like, I sure feel bad about that.
Can I just say that all the promotional material for Tekken 8 was excellent? Like all the new fighter introductions, they have so much character.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Brian Cox video is hilarious.
That energy is maintained through the story mode.
Okay.
And then I played a little of the multiplayer in the arcade and stuff just to like see how that was, and it's inscrutable because I don't know how to play Tekken. So
I find the
as
Tekken,
much as I wish I could.
the Tekken input style to be more accessible to a Dumbo like me than the weird like motions of Street Fighter.
Fair enough.
I don't know if that's like a universal thing. Also, one time Harada, the producer of Tekken, asked about Waffle House on Twitter. And people really want him to put a Waffle House stage in Tekken.
Yeah. He also said Heihachi Mishima is super dead, and then they brought him back. And that's why this game isn't higher, because those cowards couldn't commit to killing Heihachi for realsies.
Yeah, but he had cool hair. He got those two tufts sticking out.
He got cool hair. He does have cool hair.
Yeah. That's all you need, man.
Yep. They don't need
right.
him, though. All right, passing the baton. Collin.
Is it finally time to talk about Animal Well, Griff?
I'll see myself out.
No one loved Animal Well more than Griffin Hoffmann.
Ugh.
I mean, it's the reason it's number 10 on my list.
I beat that game.
I did too.
It's not on my list.
Every game on my list I've completed at least once.
There are games that I finished this in 2024 and I didn't put them on my list. All right, I said my piece about Animal Well. You guys talk about how much you love it and how good it is.
Colin.
Wait, I want to know why you didn't like it.
Oh, say nice things about it.
Okay.
So we can tear you down.
No, I'm staying super posy here.
Yeah, so Colin,
It's kind of weird because I don't know if I have a lot of nice things to say about it. I enjoyed Animal Well. I played through it. I got all the eggs, and then I tried to go deeper.
Oh my god.
And
Why
I
would
got
you
to the
ever,
point
though,
where
right?
I was having fun until
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I stumbled across things that I absolutely could not figure out, because it turns out you can't figure them out without the help of the community.
Like the one
that
where there's
sort of
like
thing.
50 different images on a mural that you have to submit your thing and make a shared...
Yes.
Yeah, the worst.
And I don't know how much you've looked into how deep it actually goes to ridiculous levels, which
Yes.
I think is really cool. No way. Also, I'm not a computer scientist. And I just...
What makes
Some
me
of it was too much.
Yeah. What makes me so frustrated about those sorts of secrets is they almost feel like it's a secret for no other reason than it being secret, right? Like there's not a payoff. The payoff is like, well, here's an audio note from the developer, and it's like, whatever, man. Like, I don't care. Like, teach me about the world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
But I mean, did we? Well, Jamie, how did you feel about this game? Because I feel like Colin, the sentiments he expressed mirror mine so closely, and I'm wondering where you landed on it.
No, I'm right aligned with you guys. I loved the atmosphere, and I wish that you were rewarded by learning more about that place.
Yeah.
But like that was just not the way that it was designed, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it had some cool items, although I feel like some of the items were just much more obviously useful than others. So it was like kind of lopsided. Like sometimes you get an item and you'd be like, oh my god, this is gonna like open up the world, or like you wouldn't realize how good it was until you started messing around. Like I feel like the frisbee had that quality.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you learn that you can just ride on the frisbee is super cool. And I like the associated sort of like implications of finding toys lying around and being a small thing in a big world. I think there was some kind of cool ambient storytelling there, but I think I kind of left that game feeling like there was so much hype and hullabaloo about it, and I was like, this was good, but it wasn't superlative.
Yeah. My hopes were high.
Yeah.
We played it at PAX. We saw the developer getting interviewed, and you know, I was like, I was ready to love it, and it kind of fell a little flat, which is sad.
Yeah. Did you end up beating it, Jamie?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
Well, now that we're talking about it, I feel like it should be number 9 on my list now.
I'm surprised that Echoes of Wisdom was lower. I mean, it's clever.
Oh, and you could put it even lower than 9 if you really want.
I enjoyed every. It looks bad being at number 9. I had a great time with Echoes of Wisdom. I didn't really dislike any game on here.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Like Animal Well, which is my number 10, I still had a good time, and I feel like it's the rare game. So Griffin has this axiom, which is like, you can't really fully critique a game until you finish it, and sometimes I'm like, that's dumb. But I feel like Animal Well might be the exception that proves the rule or whatever. Like it's the thing that actually legitimizes his claim, because it's like I got to the end and I was like, this is cool, and then I found out what the ARG was, and I was like, I hate this. Which is not fair. Like, there's no reason for me to detract from the experience I had, but something about that kind of cheapened it for me, and I was just like, what was this exercise? Like, why? It almost made me question why I was doing anything in that game.
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the ARG stuff, so I just played it through, and at the end of it, too, I was like, all right, I guess I finished it. That was an interesting and trying experience. I struggle with Metroid games because I forget things. So I had a real hard time with it. But I think, Collin, you and I when we were talking earlier about it, like, you guys mentioned this already, like the novel approach to using the items, and how it kind of deviated from the standard repertoire of like double jump and hover. And
you get your dash, you get your wall climb, you get your double jump. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was pretty cool in that take and how they kind of changed things up. But there was just sometimes a game comes out and it's like, wow, this is like, it is more than the sum of its parts. And to me, this game was less than the sum of its parts, where it's like, it does a lot of cool, nice, novel, unique things independently, and there is no cohesion that brings it all together and makes it an overall enjoyable experience.
That's very well said, Griffin. It totally feels that way. And I think that's what I was alluding to, right, with my sort of like, get to the end and you're like, why did I do all this? You're like, I'm not sure that this was like, this paid off in the way that I hoped it would. Yeah, so that's a really astute observation. You know, I was also thinking about your comment around the items and sort of the progression methods being a little different, and I'm reminded of a game. Did any of you guys play Axiom Verge?
Yes.
Okay.
Love that game.
So that's another game that's
It is on my list of things to do.
Okay, that's another game. So, Collin, if you like the way in which this game sort of subverted the typical progression in Metroid, Axiom Verge is a game that does a really good job of showing you like Metroid-y things and then giving you tools to deal with them that are very weird. It's like Bizarro Metroid.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. Don't play the sequel, it's bad. But the first game's really good. And worth your time.
I'm a sucker for Metroidvanias and a bigger sucker for that type of pixel art style in Metroidvanias.
Yeah, it has a very it's a very strong homage to the original Metroid, and it does some cool stuff around like glitching is kind of how it is handled in the game, and that creates some interesting kind of lore implications and gameplay opportunities. But I think honestly the thing that's most fun to me about it is the weird items. So worth your time.
Yeah, totally.
Now who's talking about a game not from this year?
You know what? I was using it in service of a critique of Animal Well.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So there. Oh my god. I just scrolled up and there's a lot of images up here. Hey, Collin, did you have other thoughts about Animal, or did anyone else want to say anything about that game, or we want to move on?
I think that all kind of sums it up for me.
Okay. I think I am silenced yet again because Echoes of Wisdom is my number 6. And someone has it higher than me. So, Jamie, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is FF7 Rebirth.
It's my number 1.
Oh, damn. All right.
Fight me, Griffin.
What?
Yeah, it's my number 2.
To.
All right. What's your number 6, Griff?
Oh, well, okay. So there's this game that you may have heard about. Forrest knows what I'm talking about.
I was going to say Forrest. Forrest is pissed. Bro he's got a lot to say.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. There's this game called Genshin Impact, and it's pretty good. It does this service thing where it launches like a new version.
How many currencies? How many currencies?
Hold on. Can I try to remember? So we got Primo
Yes.
Gems, right?
Correct.
That's
Yep.
the one that costs money, and then there's
Yes.
Primo Gems is what I call my genitalia. Is that weird?
there's one that looks like. When you meet an attractive lady, do you say she has Primo Gams?
Ooh, hachi machi.
What is the one that looks like a crescent moon?
So it all. If you, what is a currency?
A miserable pile of secrets. The resin. The resin.
There's many types of currencies, right? In that there's there's craftable things in other video games, and that's kind of like a currency. This game has two monetary currencies. One is a direct 1-to-1 with dollars, and another one is in equivalent to dollars. So that would be your currency. It's not too bad to understand, but it also just sucks shit that there's that workaround.
Wait, what? So the Primo Gems are the ones you can just buy, right? No. There's some other one that you have to buy to get Primo Gems.
Yeah, there's the Apple Store-ification of it, where you have to buy Genshin Bucks to then use the Genshin Bucks to buy Primo Gems.
Oh my god.
Where you can earn Primo Gems in-game by doing things like opening treasure chests or exploring parts of the map or completing quests. Yep. So that's all great. There's a bunch of other currencies like, things like materials to level up your character or unlock special moves and maneuvers and so on and so forth. Anyway, this game is not new. I talk about it every year. And this year in 2024, why is it worth mentioning? Well, it's because this is where it's always tough, because the prior year is the year of when the new version launched. So all the cool shit happens right up at the outset. So with version 3, that's when we got Fontaine, and we had the first couple quests were a Professor Layton style murder mystery, where you had to do like game mechanics and solving puzzles and doing logical deductions and whatnot. So that was really sweet. And then in 2024 we got Hat Guy, aka a bunch of bullshit. But what 2024 ended up delivering on a high note at the end of the year was launching the new nation Natlan, which is the Fire Nation area, and was all focused on traversal. So all the characters have like a special traversal mechanic that are from that area. So, it does seem like there's a constant push against how do we, pump some sort of innovation into it, and this was like, well, what if we focus more on movement around the open world? And I'll tell you this, having played Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact now, I want to go and be in a world where I can have like a third-person view navigation, run around, traversal, more so than I want to be in a world that is very tight, no jumping, turn-based action combat. It's cool to just go and explore in Genshin, and they up that by making some mechanical additions to the new characters and adding some stuff into the world to aid and expedite traversal if that is something you're looking to do. So overall, it's a solid addition to the game, where it was kind of waning around mid-year this year. 2024, that is. Big moves and character releases. They did a lot of cool things, like making a D&D quest for one of the characters. So just a lot of really delightful things came out this year. Nothing really like mind-blowing or game-breaking, but just a solid entry
Griff,
in a game that's fucking 4 years old.
Can I ask you real quick, what is the traversal method that the Natlan characters have?
It depends on the character, but you also don't have to have the characters, because there are creatures that you can inhabit in the Natlan area. So you can inhabit the rock dinosaur that's like a Rhydon, and you drill underground like a street shark, and you can drill up mountains. And there's a Yoshi that's like a green not Pal World guy that sticks his tongue out and grabs in.
Do you have
these
to hit him in the
floating
face to
things.
make him do it?
You can't, because you're inhabiting his body. So like
okay.
it's mental anguish.
It's
that
like
you're
when Bill.
experiencing
It's
to
like
make-
when Bill trades bodies with the Pokemon in Gen 1.
Yeah, and he freaks the fuck out and then sticks his tongue out really far. But yeah, it's like your standard fare of movement. Like you got swim on water, swim underground, use grappling hook in air. So it's nice. It's just a real nice game.
Hey, maybe
that
it'll
game
come
is.
to Switch 2 and I can play it on mobile with real controllers.
Donald Trump Switch 2?
Donald Trump Switch 2.
Yeah, that's funny if that were to happen, since they announced it for the Switch at some point.
Yeah, evidently not strong enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think it might be too late, I'll be honest, to get into Genshin Impact.
But Stellar
for
Return!
anybody.
They'll give me the Primo Gems to come back.
This game's for me, guys. This is not something I'm recommending you all go play.
This is my home. It
You've
was
tried
made
to
for
bully me into playing it.
Well, that's because that was also many months ago when it was an appropriate time to come back.
Oh my god.
Now it's not.
I played it for a long time. but not long enough, evidently.
Nah.
No.
Nah. I would be fascinated to, I stepped away from HSR for like, a couple months on end and then come back in and it's like, what the fuck is even happening here? I gotta learn these new systems.
I was gonna say, we got Mondstadt and Leeway. That's as far as I got.
Gee, yeah. You got some work to do there. But yeah, so I'm not trying to say this game is like superlative or you should go be playing Genshin Impact or anybody should. I can't even imagine picking up that game at this point fresh. But in the same way that there are people that are like, hey, Warframe is like a lifestyle, I totally get that. And I think Genshin is still performing and succeeding in what it set out to do. And I'm really excited to see it come to an end.
Real quick question.
So I could be free
Who
of this game.
are you polling for right now?
Good question. Who am I polling for in 2025 or 2024? Which one?
Okay,
Do you want to know?
tell me your greatest poll of 2024.
Charles
Has to be a
Barkley.
character because I don't give a shit about the weapons.
Yeah, Steve Harvey. I think it was Dark Steve Harvey, Negaverse.
Wait,
Steve
did you get the
Harvey.
guy who has the little companion that's a computer video game?
That to me is the worst poll. That is my biggest regret poll of 2025.
Oh, just because does he not play well?
I don't. It's not for me. It's a cool mechanic. I thought he'd be really cool to do, but it is not fun. His kid is burning focused, which is interesting, but it is mechanically frustrating for me. The character that I enjoy the most is the new one from Notlon, Malvika, who rides around on a shark like a surfboard, and you have to ride through things. So you ride through things, you put a mark on, you apply a mark to them, and then once you build them up with marks, you launch an attack, and it does extra super mega damage by having more marks on them. So it's like this big nuke thing that takes a long time to build up, but has a really awesome payoff, and you just see big numbers on the screen.
For listeners,
like big number.
For listeners who are not in front of their computer right now, I can confirm that Mavuika is hot.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a 2025 character. I meant Mualani.
I don't know how to
Not
spell
to be
that.
confused with
John Mulaney?
John Mulaney. Yep. Brother in Christ, John Mulaney.
All right. Yeah, you guys should look up the character with the weird assistant that looks like a South Park character because it's actually pretty wild. I actually kind of have a lot of respect for how weird they got.
It's a really weird character that they don't explain either. It's like, hey man, why is that guy a pixel art? No answer.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's interesting.
I'll find
it's
a picture.
decision. That game makes some decisions. Anyway, moving on to more important things.
All right. Do we get to talk about Dragon Quest now?
Can we?
Yeah. Go ahead, Colin. You liked it more, apparently.
I love all Dragon Quest.
I think I love
But,
all Dragon Quest.
What's that?
I think I love all Dragon Quest. I was a little bit of a late bloomer, but I loved Dragon Quest 3 very much.
Dragon Quest 3 classic game
Yeah.
with a bad post-game dungeon that they added.
Yeah. I got to Zenlon, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
You're talking about the post-Zenlon dungeon.
The post-Zenlon dungeon.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It could have just ended with Zenlon.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was awesome. Like I said, classic game. I like the HD 2D style.
Yeah.
I liked my Octopath Travelers.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that art style. I mean, Dragon Quest 3 is an awesome game.
Yeah. How do we get these two to take an interest in this game? Because I played Dragon Quest, I think 9 was my entry point to really start to enjoy the series. And then I played...
Griff, did you say 9 was the first one, or the only one you played?
It might have been. Jeff conned me into playing it, and I was like, these things are all a bunch of Toriyama arts. Snooze.
I tried to get him to play 11.
Oh, 11 is incredible, Griffin.
11 is
11's
amazing.
amazing.
Although I will say,
yeah.
I don't love the story decisions in Act 3. I kind of wish that game...
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
I can
some
see that.
emotional heft to what happens in Act 2 that is diminished by Act 3.
It didn't grab me, and I have no reason other than that to say. I mean, it just didn't grab me.
Okay. Well, so...
Did you guys play this on the Switch?
I did.
Where did you play
Where
this?
did you play it, Colin?
I played it on the Switch.
Yeah. Performance on the
Or
Switch...
no, I'm sorry. I played Dragon Quest 11 on the Switch. I played the remake of 3 on PS5.
Okay. I was going to say, ironically enough, I would say Dragon Quest XI on the Switch performs better than Dragon Quest III performs on the Switch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's some pretty significant lag in the cities in 3. I don't care. I mean, it's not. It didn't affect my enjoyment in the slightest, but
Right.
I think it is it is a better looking game on current generation consoles than it is on the
Sure.
Switch. Plus, I imagine there's like good HDR support and stuff on, and I don't even know if Switch does HDR. I don't think it does.
Is it going to bother me, Geoff, to play it on Switch?
No, I mean, I think it's
Is
an
it that
incredible
bad?
game on
Okay.
Switch. It is very much a classic game, and I think I thought that I wouldn't love that, but I don't know. It's just really good. I get it now. Like, I understand the cadence of Dragon Quest. I don't think I ever used to, but now I'm like, I loved this game, start to finish. Like, everything about it was just like so charming, and like the kind of eccentricities of like how items were placed in the world, and sort of the strange like loot doling out that they do, and like just kind of the peculiar difficulty and spell list and all these different things and the odd limits. Like, I just get them all now. Like, they're like part of my DNA, and it almost makes me wonder, like,
Griff,
yeah, go ahead, Jamie, sorry.
No, finish.
I was going to
Geoff.
say, it almost makes me wonder, because I was like a little cautious about this game, and I was like, it looks incredible, it looks really fun, but like, it is really classic Dragon Quest. And part of what I liked about 11 was that like, it is not just that everyone selects their actions and then the turn plays out. It's like each character gets their own turn, and this is stepping back to the old way. But it never bothered me throughout this game. And I'm almost wondering, like, if I loved this game so much, can I enjoy 2 and 1 too? Like, 1 has always seemed hella boring to me. But now I'm like, after playing this game, I'm like, I kind of want to play 1.
Well, now that I've seen what they've done with 3, and thankfully they did. I played the original 4 Dragon Quests when I was a kid on the Nintendo, and they're very grindy.
Yeah.
Especially the first game, super grindy. So I'm glad that they did away with making that a necessity for the remake, which I expected them to. So whenever the 1 and 2 remake come out at some point this year, I'm expecting that they're going to be a little more friendly than they were. So 1 shouldn't be such a chore to play this time, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it's more like, just because 1 is solo, right? It's a single character.
Yes.
I'm like, where's the like interest? You know, like, there's nothing there. There's no there. But I do want to play 2 quite a bit.
2's awesome. Yeah.
I was going to say, Griff, so I started playing Dragon Quest XI. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then I was listening to an Insert Credit podcast where Tim Rogers was talking about how Dragon Quest games are marketed in Japan. And I guess in Japan, like, one of the various ways that you can enjoy Dragon Quest games is like an hour before bedtime. Like, this is apparently a thing. Like, people like to play them slowly, like an hour or 2 at a time before bed. I started doing that with 11, and I felt like, of all things, like, that unlocked it for me. And I was like, okay, this is like a chill game where I'm hanging out with my buds. Like, I'm not going to get a whole heck of a lot done. The story's going to move relatively slowly. And then I feel like I finally got it. And I'm hoping that that's the vibe with 3, because I do want to play it.
Yeah, I think you can play 3 in that way. Like,
Interesting.
every village has a small story for sure. That's definitely a thing that happens in 3. Would you agree with that, Collin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I really just want Griff to be able to enjoy the ridiculousness of the dialogue and the characters of Dragon Quest and the monsters. And they're all just so silly and charming.
Yeah.
And I want to force that on the Griff.
There's something, I think there's something about the way that, like it's like weird to me that, like, you go into a town, right, and you start looting a town, right? So, like, let's say you're looting a town in Final Fantasy, right? Like, you're gonna find like only good stuff, right? But like, you loot a town in Dragon Quest, and you like go and you open something up, and it's like, you got 3 gold coins, and it's like, okay, sure, I guess
You found their boxer shorts.
Yeah, you found your 11th pair of boxer shorts, and you're like, what is this? Like, what am I doing? Why are we doing this? But something about it is just right. I don't know why. It's like the Animal Crossing effect. I'm like, I I'm in this world. Something about like the weirdness.
Yeah, it's like what would you expect to find? You're robbing these people's cupboards and their dressers, and
and
you're not going to find amazing armor in this random guy's house.
Can you equip the boxer shorts?
You can equip the boxer shorts. It's a piece of armor.
Yeah, it is.
He's
and
in.
you can, when you put on the sexy bathing suit, your little sprite character looks a little sexy.
Oh, it sure does.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You might beguile the enemy sometimes. It's
Beguiling is my trigger word. No!
I don't think Griffin could ever fully enjoy this game. Jamie, I think you could have an amazing time with this game. I'm just telling it like it is. I know Griffin doesn't.
As a proven moron, he could not handle this game.
You just don't like turn-based RPGs that much.
I own it.
All right.
You don't like very old school turn-based RPGs that much.
No, I like games that respect my time.
I think Dragon Quest III respects your time, but it has a speed-up mode. Mm-hmm. You can play.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
you can
cool.
speed it
That's
right
actually
up.
very nice.
Yeah. The battles, I played my battles at fast or ultra fast the whole game. Would not recommend anything.
Oh
slower
yeah,
than that.
you definitely can't play them at normal speed.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Can you turn auto battle on?
You can, I believe.
Was there an auto battle? I just had it on ultra fast.
Now we're talking.
I think in every Dragon Quest game, right? Like
Well, I mean, I guess you can set the tactics all up to make the smartest decision and just kind of let it play out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you play regular or Draconian Quest, Collin?
I just played the normal.
Okay. I played Draconian, and when I got to Zenlon, I was just like, I don't want to grind this out.
I specifically did not choose Draconian because I knew about Zenlon.
Okay, yeah.
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 So when do I stop? What is this, Zenlon?
It's a post-game boss. Zenlon's actually pretty cool, and I should put some effort into it. Okay, Jamie, you know how there's actually a lot of echoes of Dragon Quest 3 in 11. Like, now that I've played 3, it is very clear that 11 was calling back to 3 quite a bit. You remember the whole segment where you can get wishes granted in 11? That's a thing in 3 as well, but it's a post-game thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's the Grandmaster Pang Wheel of Harma. Do it in a certain amount of turns, and you can have wishes granted.
Yeah. So that's a post game thing, and I kind of would like to see those like story beats and experience that, but I basically just wiped to Zenlon, and I was like, I don't feel like this. But the rest of the game, the leveling curve is very good. Like it is perfect. Even on the higher difficulty, like I grinded a little bit on Metal Slimes. But the game makes it easy for you.
Oh, you have to. That's fun.
Yeah, it makes it really easy for you. It is like one of the most forgiving. Like, I found it easier to grind in this game than I did in 11, and I loved 11.
Yeah.
And I think I grinded to level 99 in 11 because I'm a crazy person, and you need to beat the like uber duper final boss.
Oh, did you do the time
I think
worm?
I did too.
So I got to the last.
Oh yeah, you better be level 99.
I got to the like Kalasmos clone or whatever that you fight in the 2D world, and for some reason my setup just wasn't working, and I was just like, I don't care, so I just stopped. But I like maxed out everyone's stuff, and I had what I thought was a good setup, but apparently not good enough. But yeah, I played the heck out of that game. But anyway, I'm really glad.
Yeah, Dragon Quest will make you optimize for like the last challenge bosses for sure.
Yeah. I also learned that the kind of the stuff in Dragon Quest that you want to be doing, which is like working on resistances and setting statuses even on like the strongest bosses, is something that I just didn't understand when I first started playing the series. But now that I know, it's like, oh yeah, final boss, put him to sleep.
Sure, yeah. I feel like a lot of people will come from Final Fantasy where you can't do anything to bosses. You can never inflict statuses, but statuses are a thing in Dragon Quest that you can definitely use even on bosses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to wax poetic about the game for too long. It's the most recent game I've beaten, and I really like it. I'm glad you like it too, Colin. I could see we're kindred spirits when it comes to JRPG enjoyment.
I'm glad I have a fellow Dragon Quest enjoyer, finally.
2. I'm with you.
Yeah,
man.
Jamie's in that camp too.
Both of you. Yeah.
Jamie loves a good JRPG. I feel like sometimes he doesn't see them all the way through because he has what we call a life.
And because I don't want it, so Colin, I have this thing where if I finish a game, that world is over to me. So it's hard for me sometimes if I really like a game to finish it. Like I don't want to
Let's talk about the Jamie lore
Like, I
when we
wanna-
talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think.
All right. I'm going to move us along just because I just became cognizant of the time and I want to just respect our time and everyone else's. So, should we move down the list?
Hell
do
yeah.
it.
I have Tactical Breach
It's
Wizards.
going to get hot and heavy now.
Yeah, Tactical Breach Wizards is my number 5, but Jamie has it as his number 3, so I'm skipped again.
Whoa.
That game
really
rules.
good.
All right.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Jamie, what's on
Where
yours
am I?
here?
Where are we at? I'm sorry. What do we got?
Number
Where are
5.
we? Prince of Persia's The Lost Crowns.
I think.
Is that the highest one?
I think
Is that
we
it?
can talk about it
Am
I
now.
think so.
I think that's the highest.
It's been unlocked.
I also have not beat this game.
It's to your credit, it is a long game. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel one of the coolest things, I am more curious to hear your thoughts, Geoff and whoever else maybe beat it, but one of the things that stood out to me most about this game is that it's a Metroidvania that really seems to pile on a lot of additional combat mechanics, but it seems to do it at a cadence and at a pace where it doesn't feel overwhelming. And it also, I think, really succeeds in kind of encouraging you to use them. So I don't feel like I'm getting taught all these combat things that I'm never going to put into practice. I feel like they all kind of have their place. And yeah, I think I might be about halfway through-ish, but I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't overstaying its welcome. I was getting these new skills dispersed pretty, like, just at a good pace. But I don't know. Did it overstay its welcome for you guys?
So I don't know if these two played it because it's not on their list. Did you guys play it?
I have it lower on
Oh,
mine.
you have it as number 8. Sorry, Colin, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Yep.
I
I didn't play it, but I wish I did.
I didn't think it overstayed its welcome, but it is a long game. Actually, when I started it, I was like, oh, this game seems like it's going to be really short. Incorrect. It is huge. And I agree with your assessment of it, Jamie. I think that it is the rare Metroidvania that really positions its combat as like a pretty big pillar. And it actually succeeds. I think the combat is really good, and I think that what you said about the mechanics being added and actually having utility is completely true. And I think it avoids a lot. There might be a little bit of skill treeing in that game, but I really don't think there is. I think there's like not even Dark Souls. I mean, like every modern game, that features combat and traversal, it does crib a little bit from Dark Souls, but the progression in the game is very pure. It's an Ubisoft, the rare Ubisoft game that doesn't have a freaking, like nervous system map of skills for you to upgrade. It is a movement and combat-based Metroidvania, and it does both of those things really well. It has a lot of like challenge rooms, which is something that I thought I would kind of hate in these sorts of games, but again, they're just like really good and fun. It also has this weird thing where I think when I first saw it, and you might agree, Jamie, it looked like a mobile game in a lot of ways, which kind of put me off it a little bit. But then when you play it, it's like, it's jank, but the ideas are so good. And like the representation of culture is like weirdly good and like well executed and interesting in a way that I feel like most Ubi games that like venture into the Middle East don't really do. It's very surprising in a lot of ways, and it's a Metroidvania that you can't beat it in 2 hours, right? Unless you glitch through the game. Like, it's just doing its own thing very boldly, and you can tell that it wasn't the highest budget of all time, but in all the most important ways, I think it sticks the landing, and it's really sad that studio has been gutted.
I know, it's crazy. The other thing I'll say is that I feel like the map is huge, but the map is huge, and that is deployed well. It feels like this epic journey. Like you're going from the tops of this tiered city to like its bowels, and those areas feel completely distinct. So that's really cool. And the other thing I wanted to say is that it goes both deep into the combat, but it has a lot of traversal and a lot of complicated traversal to do. But a lot of the traversal moves that you learn, you deploy while in combat. So it's kind of, you're not learning a set of moves for traversal and a set of moves for combat. You're going to use both, and they're going to cross over, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a really great game, and I'm glad that it resonated so well with you, Jamie. Colin, what were your thoughts? Were you a fan or just kind of like, eh?
I was a big fan.
Yeah.
I was extremely shocked that it was as good as it was, because I heard originally I heard Prince of Persia. I was like, okay, here comes some garbage Ubisoft game, and like you said, it does kind of have that mobile game look about it at first. But yeah, the combat is fantastic. The puzzling, the platforming. I like the little create a duplicate of yourself in time, and then you kind of go back to it. And there's a lot of really cool puzzles that they did with that. The bosses were cool. The bosses were fun to learn.
Absolutely, yeah, great.
Definitely.
The big ridiculous bosses, yeah.
Question.
I thought it was an awesome game.
Question for those of you who played the game. So, taking a look at a Metroidvania like Castlevania, like, right, we had this discussion earlier about Animal Well and how it just felt kind of hollow. This game, you guys seem a lot more effusive about how much you enjoyed Prince of Persia. Did it do a lot more? Did it feel more satisfying despite being a much longer in time commitment game?
I think it's just a very
Yes.
different kind of game. Like it wasn't trying to be inscrutable or like mysterious. It's just like a world that reveals itself to you with like a surprisingly good narrative and, like I said, some weirdly good cultural representation and respect. I was like, wow, this is like a really good
But it is
go
more.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, but directly to answer your question, Griff, I think it is more satisfying. It's more satisfying right off the bat, and it continues to be satisfying. Whereas I felt
Picked
like
the wrong Metroidvania to play this game. Is what you're telling me.
Animal Well almost feels like a horror game. I mean, it is a horror game because you're constantly
'Cause it's
like your back
excruciating,
is up
yeah.
against the. You just don't feel equipped to do the thing, and in Prince of Persia, you feel extremely equipped to do the thing.
I don't know why
I
I
think
put
you'd like
Animal Well as high as I did.
Because you're a monster.
I think I did it subconsciously to piss Griff off.
More than likely, yeah. Any other thoughts about Animal Well? Are we ready to move on to the next number?
I think we're ready to move on.
Did I
I think
say
so.
Animal Well?
You did.
Oh, well,
Yes, you did.
we just love it so much. Okay. So I think we're down to number 4 then, right? Yes.
Well, I had
Yeah.
Helldivers 2 at 5. And I don't have to spend
Ah.
I don't have to spend a lot of time talking about that, because I don't have a ton to say about it other than
Oh, sure.
I was not originally going to play this game. I'm not really an online FPS kind of guy, or like not much of a modern shooter person in general, but my brothers convinced me to play it. They're like, hey, it's co-op, like just play it with us, check it out, it's really cool. And it is really cool, and it's a lot of fun, and it's super goofy, and it's a really good game, and I put it at number 5.
It's definitely,
How
I think...
forward facing? Go on.
Finish
Griff.
your thought, Jamie. Go ahead. No.
I was just going to ask, how forward facing is like the satire? Like, is that in your face throughout the game, or is that just kind of like window dressing?
It's not super in your face. I mean, you'll get a little bit when you watch the opening cutscene, but it's definitely obvious that it's satire, but they're not constantly shoving it in your face. It's usually just little bits of here and there.
Gotcha.
Some of the things your characters yell, some of the little like the tips in the loading screen, they'll make a funny little democracy related, quip or something like that. But it's definitely there, but not like shoved down your throat repeatedly. Like, look how funny your silly game is.
Yeah, gotcha.
So this one, I think, right, is critically well received, and I didn't play it, Colin, for the exact same reasons you kind of said, where it's like it doesn't meet my my like typical genre that I engage in,
Yeah.
multiplayer online shooter, skill based activities. But from all the shenanigans and stuff that been coming out from it, and from what you're saying too, it seems like a fun game to just pick up and have a big old goofy dumb time with friends.
It's a
online.
fun, satisfying loop. You drop in for your little 30-minute mission. You say skill based, but really it's just the 3 or 4 of you fumbling around getting things done. You do need to have some skill, but you're also just going to be blowing the shit out of each other on accident constantly, and it's a giant mess. And then you extract. It's very fun. It's a really, like I said, it's a really satisfying little loop.
And very different from what I remember Helldivers being, where it's like top down,
Right,
twin
yeah.
stick shooter thing. Like this is just like your meat and potatoes behind the back third person.
Yep.
Okay. And
Cool.
continued support, right? Throughout the course of the year, more patches, more nonsense. And like, okay, so are you engaged enough to like hear the kind of weird shit where the developers will be like, okay, do enough kills to get your global readiness to this, that, and the other, and then you do that, and the reward is like the super laser that actually kills half your team randomly in the middle of combat? Like they're griefing their own player base for democracy.
Yes, there's the democracy space station that, if you is what it is. And you can it's operational again, and you can if you submit enough to it, then enough samples and other things, then it'll just, we're going to help by dropping these orbital barrages on the planet during your mission, but it really just is the developers killing you.
That's amazing.
Cool.
All right.
So I think we're on 4 now.
Yep, 4 now. And I had on my
you want me to go?
5 Final Fantasy, I think. So this
okay.
all makes sense. To get back up to Geoff, who has Tactical Breach Wizards. Nope. He's got Metaphor Re Fantasio. And I don't think anybody else is going to have that on theirs. He stepped away for a second. So we'll pause on that.
Okay.
And Tactical Breach
Hades
Wizards.
2.
Hades 2. Okay. Looks like you and Geoff
Anyone else
played
have
Hades
Hades
2.
I did not have Hades 2.
You guys played Hades 1,
I did.
Yes.
right? Did you guys like Hades 1?
Yes.
I was late to Hades 1 because I'm generally not a huge roguelite fan, and I'm either very picky about them or it takes me a while to finally get convinced to play one. And when I did, I liked Hades 1 a lot.
My
am
least
also
favorite
not a huge
Supergiant game,
roguelike.
but I still liked it.
That's fascinating to me. I think I think Hades 1 is probably my favorite Supergiant game, and Hades 2 is I really just adore it. If you liked Hades 1, you're going to like Hades 2. There's a lot of shared DNA there, obviously. However, there were a few tweaks that made it feel distinct enough that I actually liked it less initially. For one thing, you can choose multiple directions to go in, right? In Hades 1, there's just one kind of universal progression through the dungeons. You're going to go through the levels the same way. In Hades 2, you can go up or down. So you can either go up to the surface or you can go down into Hades. And there's different story elements that play out depending on, which of those 2 routes that you run. And you can choose to do a bunch of runs up top and then do a bunch down low. You can interchange them. It's cool because they feel really different. So if you get a little bored of doing the Hades run, which feels somewhat analogous to the first game, then you can toss in some runs up to the surface, and it feels like a really different game. The runs up to the surface, it's a lot more open. There's a lot more paths to choose from. And there are some levels where the layouts are huge, like absolutely huge and very wide, which feels very different from Hades 1. And it still somehow works. So if you liked Hades 1 and you want to feel that, but with a little more variety, Hades 2 is awesome. The acting is still excellent. The story still seems excellent. When I played it, which was a couple months ago, I felt like it was lacking a little bit in the story department. Obviously, they're continuing to add stuff. I really hope that when it's all said and done, it feels as fleshed out as Hades 1 did. But overall, I'm very happy with it. I had a blast with it.
Do they have a release date set for it, or is it just still in early access indefinitely?
I think it's still in early access indefinitely. I don't think a release date has been set.
Are we talking Hades 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Howdy, I had to take a brief break to walk my dog. Hades 2 is incredible.
Good, man. Catch your breath.
Hades 2 is really, really good.
Yeah. I just briefly, Geoff, just to bring you up to speed, I was just talking about how the major difference is obviously you can go up or down, and how up feels very different and is bigger and wider and still works. And, you know, it's nice to be able to vary your runs.
Absolutely.
So what did you think?
I liked Up quite a bit, and I think that the game, it does the same thing that Hades does, which is like, it uses these narrative hooks to just get you to keep coming back over and over again. And it just feels so big because of that, I think. Just so, like even in the early access form that it's in now, I'm just like, I could not see all the dialogue this game has to offer.
Yeah, you really couldn't. I feel like one of the things I said is that I felt like it's lacking in the bigger overarching story things, but there's still so much dialogue.
Yeah. And it's
amazing.
teasing a lot of narrative beats. Have you defeated Kronos?
No, yes, I did.
I beat him once, yeah. Cool boss. Very hard. I feel like it's a harder game than the first game, but I could just be not skilled at...
No, it's hard. Who's the up boss? The girl? I beat her.
The one who
a couple
does
times,
the rocket launcher or the grenade launcher thing? Yeah. Erebus? Is that who it is? I think it's Erebus.
I think so. Yeah, I felt really accomplished when I beat her. She was
and I think
impossible
they've
for me.
added more up there now. Maybe I don't know.
Cool.
They added some more stuff, and I haven't messed with it yet. I think Mount Olympus is now in, which is pretty exciting. Nice. But it is,
which is what she's guarding.
yes,
So that's exciting.
I mean, it's. I feel like that game. You know, there's something to be said for like early access is stupid and annoying, but something about coming along for the ride with those games, they're like built for early access. They crack the code. Like it feels like you're part of something.
I was going to ask that, Geoff, and I'm glad you said that, which is, does this feel like it could have been a quote-unquote full game at launch and you get just as much of, like, is your money worth it? Is if this was adopted as a service model style thing of like, hey, come on in, pay the full price, we're going to continue to iterate on it as it goes and jump on in, like, does it feels like it's satisfying in that way from what you just said.
I think so. I mean, don't you think so, Jamie?
100%. I mean, it's you know, another way to look at it is it's 100% worth the $30
Absolutely.
that you'll pay for
Absolutely.
what you get.
Yeah, and you know what? Genshin's not finished.
Never will be.
Might be. Eventually it'll be sunsetted.
Yeah, we're losing voice actors by the month.
Oh no. Yeah, it's you know, I have a friend who refuses to play the game because he's like, I'll play it when it's out, and I'm like, this is the model they chose, and they chose it for a reason. And I think coming along for the ride for Hades 1 was a really nice experience, and this game is more feature complete than Hades ever was in its early days. Or not ever was, than Hades was in its early days. Like, it's more of a full game. Hades, you could go like 2 levels down, and that was it. This game, you can do like the entire lower level, as far as I know. And they may add more levels. They may add like a third path, but there is a lot of content. There's probably more content than there is in the first Hades in this game right now.
I think so, currently. Yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
And also the combat's more varied. Like, I got to a point in Hades 1 where I felt like it was a lot of muscle memory, and it didn't even really matter what weapon I was choosing. In this, the skills are so varied. The special, oh God, what's her name? Geoff, the lunar lady who gives you the specials.
I didn't get them at first, but now I'm like all about them.
Yeah, they're like, you need to use them. And they weren't in the first game at all. It completely changes the way that you go about combat. So like you have to pay attention more. It feels like every run is very unique.
For sure. It's and it's like cool to like play something and be like, oh, that kind of sucked, and then like the community like responds and they're like, we're gonna change it, and then you play it and you're like, I love this, like this new version of this is really cool. But it's like fun to be part of that. That is cool. It's the rare early access game that doesn't just feel like I paid for a scam.
Right.
Yeah. Or like, this
Not
is the
paying
most
for
I'll ever get out of
privilege
this.
to play first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the song that the second boss sings is just in my head.
Have you heard the
forever.
other versions of it? Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good. Yeah. Those are the sirens, I believe. Right? Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
Celine is the one who does the moon blessings. Path of Stars. Yeah.
Celine,
yeah, that's
yes.
really cool.
If they put that in the first game and charged $15, I would be like,
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like
Good enough.
you're paying 30 bones now or whatever it costs, right? And it's like you're literally getting free DLCs for a product that you can literally beat right now. Like, you could do a run and feel like, I beat this game. When I beat Chronos, I was like, I beat this game, knowing full well there's a lot of game left.
Sure.
So,
I think the thing that startled me the most about this is it being a straight up sequel, which Supergiant Games has not done, right? And with it being a roguelike, it also feels like the most inappropriate decision of all games to sequelize for them.
yeah.
So, but from what you guys are talking about, it sounds like it's a worthwhile endeavor, right? It doesn't feel malicious. It doesn't feel like it's a scam. Everything's very cool. It's iterating effectively from the previous game.
And you know that, like, Hades, like, parceled out its narrative really slowly, right? And it's sort of like when you step into the world of Supergiant, it's like everyone has these breathy, over-the-top fake accents. And every line is delivered with so much melodrama. And it kind of works, right? Like, if I was getting, like, full, 3-minute scenes of these people talking, I'd probably, like, I'd hurt myself. I'd be like, I can't deal with this. But when they're just like these little snippets that are delivered over time, it's like, it's kind of charming.
Who's your edgelord sister? Oh my god, she's like perfect.
Wait, which one is she? I don't remember your sister. Is it the one who throws trash on the ground? That's Erebus.
No, the big burly.
Oh,
lady.
Hecate?
Yeah, no, not Hecate, not the witch. Your sister, dude.
It's been a minute.
She's really strong. She stands in the bottom right of the map. Oh my god. I
Okay.
don't want to get.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember her name anymore. Yes. She's brooding and angry at you. She competes with you sometimes, and then she starts to help you, right? Sometimes she'll show up and challenge
Griff,
you to
I think
kill
that
enemies.
If this felt like a cash grab, I think that would have been evident from the start.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's evident from the start is that this is as lovingly crafted, and they care just as much about this as they did one. And it feels like they just had more to say and do.
Yeah,
and I feel
and
like
it's
it
a
earns
cash
it.
grab in the sense that, like, any game, right? Any game is trying to make money, right? Like, they, this was the product that gained them, their unbelievable fame and respect and excitement from the community, and they were like, okay, that was really cool, and we're gonna do more of this because people really like it. And I think as Jamie said, it's never lowest common denominator. It's just like, this is what we're good at, we're gonna do it again.
But I demand
Nemesis.
more Space Jam, or excuse me, turn-based NBA Jam.
Is that Pyre?
No. I only bring that topic up not to throw shade at it, but to say, like, hey, this is something that is like a for real concern. Right, I trust Supergiant Games. They've got a great pedigree.
Yeah.
It seems like a level-headed group of people. But Geoff, you're not wrong. Like, if you're not trying to make money, then good luck continuing to make good products.
Also, did Jamie already say that everyone in this game is hot?
Yeah,
It was implied.
Really.
The
You can take
3D
baths with
printer
people.
was steaming.
Oh my God. Some of the characters got unbelievable glow-ups. Like, holy smokes. You don't even know. The fan art is off the chain. I mean, not that I viewed any
We
of
have
it,
so
but I
many
assume
more
it is.
hot characters to talk about here, guys.
All right. Yeah, where are we at? So Jamie, it looks like you did your number 4. Did we skip over Metaphor?
We did. We skipped
Yes.
over that for you.
Okay. I'm aware that we're getting deep into this. I mean, I'm going to talk about Metaphor a little bit because we haven't talked about it on this podcast. But no, we have. We talked about it last time we met. Metaphor is a really, really good game. I think it is the rightful, inheritor of the Persona legacy. I think that it does some stuff that cooler and more interesting to me than what Persona was doing, because it's not set in a high school. I think that it is a really fun game. I think that the combat is cool, and I think that at times it is held back by where it comes from sometimes. I think that sometimes it's like shoehorning the tropes and the sort of mechanics of the series, and like the weirder mechanics like time limits and personality point grinding into its world and its progression in a way that sometimes has begun to feel a little discordant and a little bit limiting. But I think it's still a really good game. I think like every game that this team puts out, it's longer than it should be, and it has about 2 more dungeons than it should. And some of these dungeons take literally 4 to 5 hours on their own to complete, which is just ridiculous. But it's a good game, and it's telling a fun and interesting story. I think the world is really cool. I think that it's reaching for some really big themes, and it doesn't always quite grab them, but I appreciate that it tried. I appreciate that it's going for something a little more than what it had been doing in the past. Sometimes it felt like it wore its themes as sort of addressing, like, I guess, I'm not sure what Persona 5's themes were. Rebellion, I guess, but it was like the most watered down version of rebellion. Whereas I think that what this game is going for is like, resolving racial differences and different political systems. There's an enemy who's literally a libertarian. It's quite hilarious. And again, it just, sometimes it's like, it doesn't quite nail it. Like sometimes it's like, it's like, hey, the best path forward is like the most milquetoast. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But it's doing stuff, and the characters are cool. It's got that incredible style. It's everything you want out of these kinds of games, but it's also like maybe time to think about which of those things could maybe go the next time around. And maybe that's a controversial statement. I don't know. But I do feel like sometimes it is sort of boxed in a little bit by its legacy, the stuff that came before it, or I guess legacy is stuff that comes after its forebears, if you will. But yeah, it's a really good game. It's one of the best RPGs of the year, and I think for many people it's their favorite game of the year, and rightly so. It's a really good JRPG.
But you didn't like the music.
I think that they weren't all bangers. Some of them were really good, but it was not his best soundtrack. But, this is a different... I can't remember the guy's name, Meguro. I don't remember his first name. But this was his first foray into this style of music. And I think that some of the use of, like, the chanting in the battle themes is super cool. Just some of the other stuff is, like, not the best. But then I went back and, like, saw some Persona 5 gameplay. And I think that there are peaks and valleys with this particular composer. So... there's some really good music in this game, and then there's some stuff that's like, could be better. But overall, cool characters, great voice acting. I think that I like that it's no longer a full-on dating sim. Like, you can just progress with characters pretty easily. It's not, like, totally obfuscated. And I feel like the stories are made better by them not having to end in a romance. There's some really cool side character stories that have some interesting terminus points. Which would never have happened in previous games. So, yeah.
I forget if you addressed this when you talked about this earlier, Geoff. Not today, but like a different recording. This. Oh God, I'm blanking. All right, I just lost it. Go ahead and move on.
All right. I'll shut I just want to say, hey, Collin,
it's that
you like
time of
JRPGs, but
yes.
You didn't have this game on your list. Any reason for that?
So I am a gamer who has never played a Persona game, but I was about to ask you before we stopped, as a gamer who has never played a Persona game, can I play Metaphor without having any knowledge of Persona lore or anything? Because I know nothing about those games.
This game, maybe it's in the same universe as Persona, but if it is, it doesn't matter. The only thing you're going to miss out on...
it's because it looks really cool.
You're going to have a great time, and you're probably going to chafe a little less at some of the weird eccentricities that come with the
Oh, Collin doesn't chafe.
He's totally smooth all the way down.
This is a chafe-free zone. Oh, don't worry, I chafe.
Those won't bother you, and I think you'll have a really great time. And the only thing you're going to miss out on is, hey, that character looks a little bit like this other Atlas character. That's it. That's all you're going to miss out on.
Okay, sure.
It doesn't matter. The characters all look super cool. That's all. That's the important part. They all have weird, funny ears. They're all animals.
Very cool.
Okay, I remember what I was going to say before I forget. Does this game respect like a player's time more in that you don't have to be so beholden to like the calendar system of the personas, and if you don't optimize your in-game time the most effectively, you're going to miss out on content or secret endings or the relationships?
I think it does. So it does do some of that stuff, but like I am at the. I mean, full disclosure, I actually have not beat this game. There's one dungeon left.
Always a faker.
I know, right? Which I could just blow through. I just happened to like get distracted, and I'd already been playing the game for north of 100 hours, and I was like, I'll come back to it later, and then haven't done it yet. It has that same thing, but I had like 2 weeks left at the end to just chill and like had nothing to do, so you'll be fine. It's got the calendar, but the calendar is like as lenient as it's ever been, if not more so. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, Collin, you should play the game. It's really cool. If you have a Steam Deck, that's where I played it, and I think it really benefits from not being attached to a stationary device. Right. You take it places. So maybe if it comes out on Switch too, you can play it there.
Totally see that.
There you go. Okay, yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah. Who's up? Griff?
All right. Is it my turn?
I think so.
I think it's your turn.
Oh, well, I think I'll probably have to wait, right? Because we're getting into the thick of it.
Yeah. I got Balatro at
my
2.
number 4 is Balatro, yeah.
Or Balatro, I guess it's Balatro. Okay, so we skipsies.
Pass.
Collin.
Wait.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh.
Unicorn Overlord.
Collin, I have this game, and I really want to get into it. I just haven't yet. I'm excited to see it on
the
this list.
unexpected banger of 2024. Yeah, tactics RPG. Very cool in that it's not one of the ones, well, most of them I feel like you do the battle and then you just kind of, you have some story progression and development, and then you get shuffled into your next battle. You have an overworld, kind of go around, you can liberate towns, meet people, do cool things. You can like upgrade your towns, unlock new units.
It's styled after Ogre Battle, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Ogre Battle / Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah. Yes. So in combat, you'll have kind of like an open area traversal, and then you go into grid-based combat with units.
Yeah. You have like little mini skirmishes. Like you move like little mini detachments around, right?
Yes. And just there's so many ways to synergize different combinations of individual units in the skirmishes that it's so cool. It's really pretty how it all plays out. The animations are really awesome. Story, forgettable, generic. The story didn't really do anything for me, but the gameplay is amazing.
Is that a Vanillaware?
I had a great time with it.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like exactly my shit. I just for some reason like got it and then didn't give it the time of day that I should have and forgot about it. And one day,
well, perhaps I can get you with this last selling point. Big titty anime waifus.
Whoa!
Let's go.
It is what is it like Joe Hisashi? Who's the dude who's the Vanillaware guy who's notorious?
Hisashi is fucking it's George someone or another. George comma whatever. I don't remember his name.
Oh, Kamitane. Yes.
Hisashi is the Studio Ghibli guy.
Okay. All right. Yes. George Kamitane, notorious for his big titty waifus. Which sounds great. They're prevalent in this game.
Yeah. Not as big titty as Dragon
but also
Crown.
sounds like a really cool game.
If you enjoy tactics RPGs, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. What difficulty should I play?
But
so I started on just standard difficulty, and then after about a chapter, I actually restarted the game on a higher difficulty because it's very easy.
Okay, good to know.
I would if you like a challenge, honestly, just play it on. Just set it to the highest difficulty you can. Honestly, it's still not super difficult.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the 13 Sentinels people.
It's
right?
not going to be as transformative as 13 Sentinels, which is one of the best visual novels ever made.
But it is
And
the
one
same
of the worst
studio,
games
right?
ever to play.
It's fine. Yeah, that part of it's not that great. Yeah, same company, Jamie.
I love 13 Sentinels.
I just said it was one of the best visual novels I've ever
offended.
played. The tactical
very
part of
good.
it's fine.
The tower defense was not fun.
Yeah.
It was okay.
But so that's my question, Colin, is you refer to this as a tactical RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of those RPGs where I am issuing commands and then they operate and it's like an overworld, or am I like, is this more akin to like
So
I
you
move a unit and there's automation that I've developed or something?
So you have your detachments of units that are on a 2x3 grid.
They have essentially gambits,
so-
right?
Basically, think of it as the gambit system from Final Fantasy 12,
Okay,
and that's how your battles are going to play out.
and that scares me.
It does, if that sounds scary, it does a really good job of easing it into you. And also, I'm pretty sure there's an option to just like create the gambits for you and then match them up against the most favorable units if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's an easy mode for me that's just like, come on, optimize this gambit, moving on.
And also, if you get tired of it, just make a ton of flying cavalry units and nothing can kill you.
Noted. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it's Griffin. It's probably not a Griffin game.
Not for
Do you
me.
like Fire Emblem, Griff? You like Fire Emblem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had a good time with that last one.
I do.
That last battle music.
No, the last one was bad.
It was. I think it was a better game and a worse story by miles.
Mm-hmm.
But the music for the last boss kind of slapped.
Yes, she shared it with me. It was very bombastic.
Yes. Thanks for talking about Unicorn Overload, Colin. It's definitely a game that I really want to play, and I could just tell from our lists that
Yeah, absolutely.
we're aligned in our interests when it comes to gaming. So, what are we on?
I was immediately a fan.
Yeah. Should we move to 3?
So I have a question here before we move on to 3.
Yes.
We are at 2 hours, and we are going to talk about then now here shortly the best handful of games of the year. Do we take a break here and try and find another day, or
Yes.
do you feel like
Yeah.
Yes.
I was trying to power through, but I'm team break as well because it is late and I'm tired.
I don't think we'll do justice to some of the big name games here. So yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good. Yeah, top three next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
The final showdown. All right.
Colin's house?
Yep.
Oh,
Are we going
absolutely.
to Colin's house for the
We're all
next
going
one?
to on the West Coast. Let's wrap. I've been Griffin Hoffmann.
I've been Geoff Brewer.
I've been Jamie Sherer.
And I've been Collin Connett.
Writing down that name. I'm going to dox you, Colin.
Do it, I ain't scared.
All right.
Hey, this guy's just a degenerate. What the hell?
I just
All right, best games of 2024 for real. Coming up next time.